tried to do this, it didn't really go well. So we're gonna try a little harder this time. And yeah, I'm just working on this painting right now. I've been working on it for a couple days. This one. Oop, no. I'll just hold it up. I'm working on this painting for a little bit right now. Mostly I'm trying to figure out what prints I'm gonna do for this partnership I have with Tramped. Tramped. It's a. I can show you actually. Make it a little easier. So Tramped is a app, obviously, but it's for artists and art types. So Tramped, clickety click, ba bam bam bam. Of course, I'm not logged in, but this is Tramped. So they have all types of cool stuff, like prints as well as like toys and all types of stuff that people can get into. I really like it, honestly. So I've been doing this art sale with them, and let's put this right here so it's in the background. Nope, nope, nope. One day we'll get this. There we go. So yeah, I've been doing this art stuff for a little while with them. Trying to sell some prints. I've got one that's going on, a special raffle that's going on for prints right now that ends tomorrow. So go to Tramped, look me up, Shore Blake, and you're in. Maybe win, some prints. Just saying. Yeah, but it's good. Life is good. I'm just trying to get everything moving. It's been kind of difficult. I got a couple rejection letters from some art venue type things that I've been trying to do. So, I've been doing this for a long time. Rejection letters are not a new thing to me, but it's difficult. It's never like a simple thing to find out, that you didn't succeed at something. And so you gotta sometimes you gotta smudge the air and just, hey, ALV, how's it going? So yeah, sometimes you just gotta smudge, get the good energy going, like not make it so. It's so easy to just kind of lean into the hard parts and realize that like maybe this is just that type of season, a season where you're trying to get stuff done and you're not always necessarily successful at it, and that's okay. It happens. We're not free of failure. No one is. Every artist kind of has that moment where things work out and they don't work out and so on and so forth. I'm not immune to any of that. I am, on the other hand, still, like the rest of you, still sensitive to it. But got my Jamaica tea, and I'm just working on stuff, You gotta, what you don't find in one direction, you find in another. If that's anything to be said in any way, shape, or form. That might not be a saying in anywhere. But I figured today I was gonna maybe paint some stuff with you, if that's okay, if you feel up to it. And then we'll do that, because I feel like I have you. As a captive audience. So let's make some art. Do something right here. I just gotta find the image I was looking for. That'll work. Okay. So for those who don't know, I am a ink and watercolor artist. So I make a lot of art all the time, but I also am rather fearless in what I do. So that's what I'm doing right now. Something fearless. I don't know. There's a lot of artwork that like never goes anywhere. Like it never leaves the studio, and that's okay. Sometimes that's what it takes to just make art regardless. You're welcome to talk amongst yourselves. I will be probably talking a little bit, but for the most part, just kind of painting. I think the weird thing that you learn as you get older as an artist is that a lot of this is just kind of learned techniques. So, like, I have been doing this for so long that I understand how to build a shape and a color and a feeling, and or as you would say, a vibe. I get that. So, like, I can make my own art and then not feel, I don't know, I don't feel pressure anymore. I mean, I definitely like when I'm making art and it goes somewhere, but if it doesn't, I'm not making it so that it goes somewhere, if that's any sense to be said. Sometimes you just kind of have to be willing to just make artwork. And if it works out, that's great, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. But like I said, it all finds a home somewhere. Maybe it's a couple years from now, but it all finds a home somewhere. I remember when I was like in art school, I used to get critiqued a lot because they were like, "You just make all these lines. They don't go. Why do you make so many lines?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm working on something. I'm building. I'm fleshing things out." And I think they really didn't understand what that meant at the time. Maybe there wasn't enough people doing it, but like most of this, although is interesting as far as line wise goes, it's also part of my process as far as everything goes. Like I'm not like I am working on this and this is the beginnings of it. It's not something that's, it's done suddenly. It's done when it's done, you know. I've always told people like a lot of art is pretty much capitalizing on being able to make the art that you're making in the process that you're doing. And I think a lot of them didn't have a process, so for them it was easier to attack my work because yeah, like I said, they didn't have a thing going for them that worked out that way. So they were always trying to figure out the best way to have other people make art the way they did. And the truth is, you're gonna make art however you do. All the different books and the techniques and all that stuff are great, but you're not guaranteed that those kind of art books and the styles in which you make them are going to be how you end up making things. Like I've been making art for so long, I have my own recipes on how I make art. So I'm not afraid to just do stuff. Because one, I feel like at this point I don't make mistakes with my artwork. I simply learn a different direction that I wanted to go with it. And I'm also not afraid of layers, which is a really important part of my artwork. Layers are my truth in a lot of ways. It's the onion Like, it makes up so much. You gotta let some stuff dry and go back with little details and realize that, you got more going on and so on and so forth. It's just how these things go. You are not in any way, shape, or form forced to make things the way I make them, nor am I forced to make things the way you do. I don't know where all my stuff is, guys. I'm missing things. Unfortunate. Okay. So, I don't know where I put all my things, guys. I had them on my desk and then I moved them so I could do something and I don't know where I put them. So instead, we're going to do some other things. Not worry about it. So there was a time when I used to use nothing but these very thin liner pens. And then as time went by, I realized I liked using brushes a little more. And now as time has gone by, I realize for this, I like to use pencils. I just think it's kind of interesting texturally because you really see it, but you don't see it until you get close enough to it, which is fun. I do use references. I do use reference sketches initially and reference pictures and so on and so forth. But I typically run away with them after a certain point, so it's not really, they don't look anything like what they start off as at certain points. And I love that about them. I think that is partially what makes them beautiful, is that I'm willing to take chances and change them and do all types of stuff. Now it also means I'm doing like hundreds of, possibly thousands of lines on occasion, which is a little nerve-wracking, drive you a little insane, but that's okay. Crazy's kind of what we're built for, so not a huge problem. I did have somebody say a while back, they're like, we don't use that phrase anymore, and I was like, I'm talking about myself, so I use the phrasings that work for myself. I'm not referring to anyone else as any other thing. If you have any mental problems that you're working out, I hope you find peace in them and help and whatever else you need. But that is not my situation. My situation is I have a madness that is brought on by my creativity. And in that regard, I lean into it when I want to. I mean, I'm like the rest of you. I have hard days, hard weeks, hard months, hard years. But I think trying to figure out what brings you peace in your process is part of the learning the process. It's all hard. I think anybody who doesn't expect a hardness in any of this is hoping for something that's probably not going to happen. And I don't say this as someone trying to defer anyone from being artistic. I think if you feel the urge, man, pen to page, do it. Brush to page, pen to page, whatever. But you gotta be willing to kind of put yourself through it. If you're not, you're probably not going to make it in this. It's very difficult to be an artist. I mean, there's great parts about it, by far, but it is not, you're not impervious, you know? Your creative nature does not protect you from self-doubt or anything of that nature. Like, it's a part of who and what you are. You're gonna doubt yourself occasionally. That's just humanity. It's just existence. I think a lot of people try and skip a lot of those steps, and in the attempt to skip those steps, they don't really grow, because problem solving is kind of a large part of being an adult and being a person. So yeah, if you're not interested in that, maybe you're not interested in art, you know? Not in the ways that necessarily will help or bring you peace. Most of this is just people trying to, I don't know, find meaning in life. They have this want to make art, and so they have to figure out how exactly they're going to do it. And I mean, you're not always going to be successful at it. There are definitely many occasions where nothing will be ventured, nothing will be gained, but there are other moments where you will find peace and tranquility in these little tiny moments of, I don't know what to say, of enlightenment, I guess is the right phrase. So yeah, and you know, I got to do a couple layers for this, switch brushes and do all that stuff, but I got to let that dry. So I'm gonna work on the second part of the design, the outer side, and we'll go from there, you know. I've got these plans in my head on what I want to do ahead of time, so I don't oftentimes not know what I'm gonna do next. But I do have at least a strong indication that what I'm working on is what I want to be working on. What I feel the need to be, I have so much like stored in like little docs as far as like imagery that I want to do. So it takes me a little while sometimes to find those little things, but in other moments it doesn't. In other moments I'm free and I feel very capable. My problem I have is I have so many brushes that occasionally. SideQuest Sam, what's up, buddy? Of course, this thing's twisting. Why would it twist? That's so crappy. Because of the cable? Just slowly inching its way away from everything it's supposed to do, naturally. We are not free of things completely, but we are sometimes free of the things that haunt us. So that's my goal, to be free of the things that haunt me. Try to make things that don't always look like I'm just drawing chickens. Or weird birds that don't make sense. Which is sometimes not as easy as it sounds. You know? You don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay. Sometimes being the only one that gets what you're saying is a part of being an artist also. It's that whole drying process that's really kind of weird. SideQuest Sam, I missed you, buddy. How you been? I think sometimes I'm allowing myself to do too much in a space, so I have to pull back a little. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm moving at the perfect speed. Who's to say? I've been playing with colors a lot recently, so I'm trying to kind of get back to that point where I'm doing something with a purpose. So like I said, the watercolor aspect of ink washes is always kind of a thing that I'm constantly working on and trying to get better at. I just think it's really beautiful when it's done properly, which, I like to think I do, but maybe I don't. I don't know. I think I do, though. So I'm going to lean into the possibility that I'm actually good at this. And yeah, you just let stuff dry, man. Sometimes you just gotta let it dry. It's a process of doing something, letting it dry, seeing how it turns out, coming back to it, back and forth, doing and doing, and always moving and going forward. And that's just kind of art, man. Oof, I'm crazy. Yeah. So what's everybody been up to? It's been so long. I shouldn't have left you. That a dope beat. Step two. Step two. Step. No. Yeah, man. No, it's just I don't know. And this thing just keeps rotating, which is super irritating. It's on like a weird tripod, so we're moving things around, hopefully, so that it stops moving around. Yeah, like I said, trying to get into a bunch of art stuff. Supposedly going to do a festival in the fall, so that'll be nice. I get to use my tent. I still gotta buy like a display table. I got lots of art, so I've never really run low on art to show. I've got this entire heavyweight beast behind the camera full of giant paintings that I'd love to show people because I think they're cool. Um, and yeah, I'm just working on little pieces, man. I wanna, I don't know, I wanna do fun stuff and just try to be the best that I can. But it's hard sometimes. I'm no different than the rest of you on the ventured is not always the gained. It just is what it is. I think about Frida. She did all this artwork and nobody saw it until she was an old lady. I mean, I don't want that for myself because I feel like that'll drive me insane. But I want something, you know? I want my legacy to be beautiful artwork. I feel like I'm there, but you never really know. You hope that the people who see your work really love it and appreciate it and think it's fun. I think that's pretty cool right now. So not to overwork this, I'm gonna let this dry for like a couple hours and then I'll come back to it. So thank you for hanging out with me. Always good to see all of you. We'll do some more of these, I promise. Thank you for being nice. I'll see you later. Paint around. Ciao. Bye.